Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name is Carol, and I want to welcome you if you've just found my channel. It's a fairly new channel. I started in December 2023, and so if you're coming back, I also want to thank you for watching my videos and subscribing if you haven't done yet. In today's reading, we're going to be doing some inner child healing. And the inner child is a part of us that has been hidden away for years. And the inner child holds our belief systems, our memories, and all the big emotions that we had as a child that would have been, too big for us to handle. And so this inner child in us holds them. They're emotions like fear and shame and grief and hopelessness. So this unhealed part of us, our inner child, can cause a lot of problems if we don't pay attention to them. And they're that part of us that will cause us to seek, love in all the wrong places. They're the part of us that will attract people into our spaces that, will continue to abandon us or sabotage our goals. And it's just kind of left us going like, I don't understand. Why are these patterns keep showing up in my life? And it's because we have unhealed parts of us, our inner children, that need to be healed. So it really is important that we make an effort to understand the needs of our inner child so that we can start to calm and lessen the intrusions that they're having in our daily life and all of our relationships, whether they be intimate relationships, people at work even, siblings, family members. And so we need to start to build this relationship with our inner child. And we do that by having a conversation with them, really, to start to find out, what do they need? What do they need to heal? Well, in order to heal, our inner children need to be listened to, they need to be heard, and they need to be understood. And they need you to make that known to them. So as you start to begin to build this relationship with them and begin to listen to them and understand what their needs are, it really is something that becomes an ultimate form of self-care for yourself, because you're meeting your own needs as you meet their needs. So, and it really makes you the priority in all of your relationships with everyone. And so let's begin this conversation with your inner child. Now, when I decided to sit down and, what decks could I use for this reading that would really make our inner children feel safe enough to come out and speak to us in this reading? And so I found a tarot deck that was a recent one that was that I purchased, and it's Radleigh Valentine's Animal Guides, because I thought that I wanted to pick a deck that had animals in it, because all little kids love animals, and so I wanted something that they could relate to. So I'm gonna start with that deck, and then I'm gonna clarify that with the Rider-Waite deck. And then I'm going to end with an oracle card, and it's going to be a spirit animal for us, right? So it'll be Colette Baron-Reid's spirit animal deck, which I love. And so it's really going to be focused around animals. In that, like I said, it's really going to, I want your inner child to feel comfortable in a setting where they'll come out and they're going to speak to us. And so in this reading, what we're going to do is first of all, we're going to ask your inner child, what does your inner child need right now? And then we're going to ask them and then we're going to look at how is this affecting your daily life, your relationships right now? And then finally, we're going to look at, well, how can you help your inner child heal right now? And that's the important part, right? And then I'll end it with a couple videos for you from my other channel called Carol Cares. And those are going to be videos that are going to really get you going and on your way to starting to connect and build a relationship with your inner child. So let's start your reading, Leo. And I'm going to ask the tarot for one card for what does your inner child need right now? What does your inner child need right now? Hopefully it'll give me one card at a time. Just want 3 cards, but these cards are pretty big. Sometimes they don't always come out, so I'm thinking that your inner child gives me a lot here. Your inner child's not wanting to talk to me right now. Let's see. Yeah, they can be quite buried here, so let's see. Let's see what they need. What do they need? This one came out. I think it was like this, actually. So you need the Queen of Air. And Queen of Air is the Leopard. The Leopard card. First card for your inner child here in reverse. And how is this affecting you or your relationships around you? This particular need here. And we got the Queen of Water. So Queen of Cups here. And you have the beautiful Swan card here, but she's in reverse as well. So 2 queens, very, very interesting here. We'll talk a bit, these cards, they're heavy. They're pretty big and heavy. So you have the, I'll be talking about the Queen for sure and how this is definitely showing up in your reading here. So, and how can you help your inner child heal? I'm looking for 1 card, please. What animal wants to come out? Oh, too many. So I'm going to try this again. How can you help your child heal right now? Just want 1 card. All right, you got the King of Air, the Humpback Whale, the King of Air. Okay. So 3 court cards on top. Very interesting. All right, let's go to our tarot. I mean, that is the tarot, but we'll go to the Rider-Waite to clarify here. All right, so let's have 3 cards for the Queen of Air, please, first. 3 cards for the Queen of Air for Leo. Queen of Air here. You have the 4 of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and I'm going to ask for 1 more card here. See if it comes out. That may be enough, but whoa, 2 more, too many. And this one's turned up as well. Okay, let's try it. Let's see 1 more time. I think that one wants to come out. The Page of Swords. Okay, these are 3 cards. And 3 more cards here for the Queen of Water. The Queen of Water. You've got about 5 there, so it's too many. Try this again. Queen of Water. 1, 2, and 4. Okay, so you have the Hermit in reverse, and the King of Cups in reverse, and you got the Fool card in reverse, and finally the Temperance card here. Okay, and the King of Air. 3 cards, please. Clarification. Tell me some more about this King of Air. You have the Chariot card. And 2 more for clarification for this King of the Air. Two of Swords. And the 10 of Swords in reverse. Okay, so I don't have to remember about your oracle card at the end. We'll do that. Let's begin with what does your inner child need? Like, what does it expect from you right now? You get the Queen of Air card at the top, and to start off with. The Queen of Air. So let's talk a bit about our queens, but in particular, I'll talk about the Queen of Air. The queens in my deck, and you have two of them here. The queens in my deck are the feminine aspect of ourselves. We all have a feminine aspect and we have a masculine aspect, even though people don't know it, and probably a lot of people would probably argue with you, but we all have it. So the queen has been hidden in us for, a long time, right? She has beautiful qualities, and the Queen of Air, which is the Queen of Swords, air. And so the Queen of Swords is about she's that part of us that holds our authenticity and who we are, right? There's a part of you that knows who you are, that and right now she's in reverse, and so that means that there's probably a real block here. And oftentimes, we learn, our inner children can hold who we are. They know who we are. They just think of a child when they were younger, when they're playing and they're building a sand castle or playing in a park. They were just themselves. Like they didn't have all, hopefully, at that age they didn't have like a significant amount of trauma, or they weren't told certain things by adults around them, or they weren't molded, or they weren't given certain belief systems about themselves. They weren't born with unworthiness. They're not going to run around with unworthiness thinking, they didn't have that. That was given to them. And so this Queen of Air, this Queen of Authenticity, who is in reverse here because she's very much blocked, there is something about getting back to who you are. And that's what your inner child is holding for you, is holding your truth. Because, and we get to that, the needs of your inner child, when you start building that relationship with them, you start to really get to know who you are by meeting their needs. And so this Four of Cups comes up as the first card here. And the Four of Cups is this individual in an upright position is sitting here with their arms crossed. And they don't want this offer of a cup right here that the universe is coming to them with. The universe wants to say, here's another cup for you. Cups are about emotions and feeling. And the universe is saying, here's a chance for you to feel here some more. And this individual is saying, no thanks, I'm good. I don't want to go any deeper. I don't want to touch those emotions. And they're quite blocked. And so I'm seeing here that that's why your authenticity is blocked, because you have these emotions that are wanting to come out. Your inner child wants to feel, and I know they want to feel, because you have this freedom card, the Knight card that comes after it. The Knight is all about freedom, taking your wand, following your purpose, doing what you want to do, living the lifestyle you want to live, being creative in what you want to do, and being who you want to be. And your inner child wants that freedom. This is what I call my freedom fighters. My Knights are my freedom fighters. That's that part of you that wants to be free, to be able to do what they want to do. And but it's blocked right here. And your inner children want to share what they're feeling with you. They want to be free to feel all these awful big emotions that they've been carrying for so long. And the Page of Swords comes right after it. And I like when the page comes out in these inner child readings, because the page in my deck is our inner child. So whenever a page comes up in my deck, for me, right away, it's like, oh, this is an inner child, and there's healing that needs to be done. And it's not just any page here. It's not the wands, it's not the cup, it's the page of the swords. And I talked about the sword here. Here's the Queen of Air, right? And she's about authenticity. Well, this is the little page. This is the healing that needs. Your inner child, they hold your authenticity. And they're holding the sword for you. This is your sword of truth. They know who you are. And they want you to know who they are. And so they need to deal with some of these big emotions that are coming up. They want to be themselves again. There's a part of you, a very younger part of you, your inner child, that needs healing because they want to be themselves again. They want the freedom to be themselves. And this freedom of not being able to be yourself, being who you are, how is it showing up in your life? How is it affecting all your relationships here? Not being able to be your true self. The Queen of Water comes in here, and the Queen of Water is the Queen of Cups. And she's in reverse. I mean, she's blocked. And the Queen of Cups is all about emotions. The Queen of Cups is the feminine part of us. She's all about getting back into your body and feeling those tough emotions. But there's a resistance here. And so because you have blocked, or you have this resistance to feeling these big emotions when your inner child couldn't feel, and so you've, shoved your inner child down, kept them away, ignored them, right? They've been hidden, like I said at the beginning, for all these years. And they're ready to, take their horse. They're ready to go. And yet they're blocked. And so because your emotions are blocked here, this inner work part is also going to be, there's a resistance to going inwards. There's a resistance here to going in your body and start to feel. And this card is all about doing shadow work. This card is really about shining a light on, what your inner child need to feel, shining a light on what's sitting in your unconscious so that you can feel it. But there's a real resistance to doing that as well. And the King of Cups comes forward, and King of Cups explains a lot to me, because the King is the masculine part of us. I talked about the Queen being the feminine. Well, the King represents the masculine part of us, and he's in reverse here. And he's the King of Cups. He's the king of emotions. And your ego self, very ungrounded, your ego self is telling you that these emotions, don't feel your emotions. They're dangerous. Don't even go there. This is what your King of Cups is saying. Don't even go there. And so this Fool behind it, that's in reverse, the Fool comes in when it's like, here's your chance. Like, you have a chance to feel. I think that, maybe you've been given chances to feel, but I feel like you're quite closed off with your emotions. And this is in reverse here. So because your ego self is blocking you from feeling your emotions, for allowing yourself to be open with people around you, because like I said, I think you're closed off because you've really pushed down your emotions, and your ego self is going, no, don't feel. And so because you're not feeling here, I can see how this authenticity, your inner child wants you to be authentic, because the face that you've put on, the mask that you've put on in order to hide these big emotions, is a mask that is preventing you from seeing or showing the world who you really are. And it's a mask that we put on, and we really are blocking ourselves too. You're blocking your inner child, these emotions, this authenticity that needs to come forward. And the Temperance card comes in. How is this affecting your relationships? Well, there's a real fear. Do you see how this Temperance, this individual is, this angel is just dipping her toe into the water. Water is about emotions. just a little bit, just a little bit. And there's a fear, a huge fear on your part to become very intimate with people. Doesn't have to be an intimate partner, but with people around you in your relationships. A real holding back of who you are, holding back those tough emotions, right? Putting on that mask, presenting this inauthentic person to people because your inner child holds your authenticity of who you really are. But your ego self is saying, no, don't go near these emotions. They're scary. They're going to eat you alive. And so there's a lot of fear. Your inner child is holding a lot of fear about these emotions. Your ego self is scaring you. Your ego self is full of fear. And so they don't want you to feel fear. They don't want you to take that deep dive into your emotions. And that's what's, probably blocking, I'm going to say, because this shadow card, this hermit card of going inwards is blocked. And that might be what's blocking your healing journey, is that fear of feeling and finding out who you really are. And so this is what this inner child conversation is about. Your authenticity is there and who you really are, but you got to start to feel some of these emotions that your inner child is feeling, And so how do you start to help your inner child heal? And in essence, what you're doing is going to be healing yourself. You're going to be helping yourself, right? This self-care. What do you need? What does your inner child need? How can you help them? Well, the King of Air comes up, and the King, I said, is this ego self of us, but it's the ego self. It's the ego of authenticity, because it's about the air. It's the sword. And again, it's that ego self of authenticity. This particular ego, and again, the fact that the ego has come up twice for you now, your ego self, which tells me that there really is a part of you that lives in your head, because that's where our ego lives, is in our head, right? These belief systems. Swords are also about belief systems that we have about ourselves, right? Authenticity, who we are. And so this king over here of air for healing is not really into, not a fan of pulling off that mask at all. This king of air will block you from getting to your authenticity. It's the ego self that protects themselves, and it's all false. They protect themselves by putting on these masks because they don't want anybody to see who the real me is, right? And so this is what we're dealing with here, is this, this mask that you've put on. And so you really need to stop. What I'm seeing here is the first thing that you have to start to heal is this, or to deal with, is your ego self. And that means you need to get out of your head and back into your body, because you need to feel, you need to find out what these big emotions are. And so the ego, like I said, lives in your head. And so you need to learn how to ground yourself. And I am going to leave a video at the end about grounding yourself, because there is some movement that needs to take place here. This is the Chariot. This particular individual has these two sphinxes at the front, and he doesn't have any reins on them. He's not really moving anymore, right? Things have kind of come to a halt for you. There's this fear that these sphinxes might go in another direction. There's this fear of moving forward, and there's also this card speaks to me of a lot of controlling things with your mind, and so I feel like this is very much a card of realizing that this sense of control that you have, that you've kept, in your life, to try to, oh, this person, I got to put this mask on, or I got to put this mask for this person. And it really becomes a game of trying to control all that. Your ego self trying to control is very exhausting. I don't see it working anymore. It's come to a halt. And so here's this individual with the two swords. Swords again, right? This mental energy. A lot of swords coming up, mental energy with a decision to make. And you're at a crossroads where you're there's a blindfold here put on where you're not willing to, even though, it looks like you've come to a halt, you need to make a decision here as to, what are you going to do? Because you may be stuck. Sometimes we get stuck in our healing journey and we're not really moving, right? Like this charioteer here. He's not moving. He's cemented in place here. And maybe you've been cemented in place for a while now, and you get to that point in your healing journey a lot of times where you don't feel like you're moving. You feel like you're getting nowhere when, sometimes things just need to work out inside. But here's a choice. You have a choice now. And it's up to you. It's up to you to take that blindfold off and realize that, oh, this is how this is affecting me. And I think it's time for me to take this blindfold off. And it's time for me to start to, find out who I really am. Who I really am. What my inner child wants. Because I can see here that you've really got to a place where that because of your belief systems about yourself, and I had said that where, it's exhausting, and I hadn't seen this card yet, but this card speaks of the exhaustion of all of these belief systems that you have about yourself over the years and years, and you don't even know who you are. You've collected all these belief systems, put on all these masks with people, and you don't know who you are. And this is what it's done to you. It's freaking exhausting. And so you have a choice here. It really is a decision that you need to make to, you know what? I'm going to find out who I am. I want to find out who I am. And you do that by going back and start to build that relationship with your inner child. And so I think it's time for you to find out who the real you is, right? And you're going to do that with your relationship with your inner child. I'm going to leave you with a spirit animal card. But before I do that, I think it's really important that I leave you with a video on grounding. Because that's going to get you out of your ego self and back into your body where you can start to heal. And then once you've learned how to ground yourself, the one way, and probably the only way that you can really reach your inner children is, and to give them a voice, is to allow yourself to journal and talk to them in your writing. And so I'm going to teach you how to journal from your emotions and journal from those big emotions that your inner child want to share with you. The memories they have that they want to share with you. So here's your spirit animal card. Well, that came out fast. Pig spirit, use your mind wisely. And we talked about your mind a lot during this reading. Your ego self is your mind. Use your mind wisely. Pig spirit appears to remind you of the right use of intelligence. A gift we all have that is meant to be used with love, compassion, and discernment. You're being called to respect your analytical mind and use it for the highest good, recognizing that all facts must be considered even when they do not fit with what you know already. Spirit blesses us with wisdom when we allow pig spirit to nudge us into open-minded, thoughtful dialogues, whether with others or internally. So, I love this for you because maybe it sounds like there is a lot of ego self coming through here. And sometimes we have to clear that out of the way. And we have to realize that, our mind just isn't, what we believe about ourselves is not who we are. we have to go deeper and get into our body and start to get and build that relationship with our inner child to find out. They know who we really are. They know our authenticity. So take care, Leo, and I'll talk soon. Bye-bye.